Hey everyone, I hope y'all are having a great day, and today I'm going to be reviewing Open Road Summer by Emery. Normally this book wouldn't have been one that I would pick up, but I have seen glowing reviews for this book just everywhere, and a lot of the book bloggers that I trust have given this book like 5 stars, and there's just been a lot of buzz for this book. So I decided to pick it up. And for those who don't know, Open Road Summer is about a girl named Reagan who's best friends with this girl named Lila Montgomery, country superstar. Think Taylor Swift. And Lila is short for Delilah, and so all of her close friends call her D. And then they're about to go on Lila's tour, and Reagan decides to tag along, and then there is some scandal that goes on, and to recover from that they have a new opening act, and that opening act is Matt Finch, who used to be in a band with his siblings, think the Jonas Brothers, and he had like a solo album, and now he's touring with Lila, and Reagan finds herself attracted to him, and yeah, it didn't sound like a book that I would enjoy. But I picked it up anyway. This book review will be spoiler free. Also, by the way, I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I'm sorry if my voice sounds really stupid. I wasn't really sure what to expect from Open Road Summer except for a really great romance because everyone is swooning over Matt Finch. I thought that Open Road Summer had a few really great things going for it. My favorite is probably the focus on friendship in this book, because that's normally not something that I see a lot of in young adult fiction. Usually authors tend to focus on the romantic relationships or sometimes even the family relationships, but it's never really the main character and his or her best friend. So it was really refreshing to read about a book with such a huge friendship focus, because Reagan and Dee's friendship is really lovely. I mean, they go through some rough patches, but it just felt really genuine to me. Like, sometimes they'll laugh about nothing, and they have their inside jokes, and sometimes they get into a fight, or they just shoot venomous words at each other. But you know what? That's what happens in real friendships, especially with people who are as stressed as Lila Montgomery, considering she's a superstar. You know, being best friends with a superstar probably isn't something that we can all relate to, but the way that Emery wrote Dee and Reagan's friendship made it so accessible to everyone because it just felt really real. Probably the best part of the book, in my opinion. Dee herself is a really awesome character. She starts off really like sugary sweet, almost too much. It almost feels a little bit fake, or it's like you're overdosing on sugar. But eventually, as you go through the book, you see that there are cracks in her personality, and she sometimes does get a little bit nasty, and she's not all sugar and spice and everything nice like she's like advertised to be. So seeing some realness and depth to Lila's character was really awesome. And of course, there's the romance. There's Matt Finch, who is kind of swoon-worthy. Yeah, I wasn't super impressed with him, but I did think he was a really great character. When he's first introduced, you're kind of like, typical. But he slowly wins you over as you read because there's just more depth to his character. I don't really know why I found Matt Finch charming, but he just kind of is. He starts off really typical, and I was really skeptical when his character was introduced, but it was just little things that he said or cheesy things that he did that just made him really endearing. Yeah, there's a lot to love about Open Road Summer, but I also had a few problems with it. And the main problem was the main character, Reagan. I could not stand her. I thought she was unbelievably rude and irritating, and it was basically how she bashed on every single girl that came onto the page. She just instinctively hates and critiques every single girl that she sees that's not Dee. And Reagan doesn't discriminate, it's every single girl, no exceptions. It's like Reagan could not help herself. It's like every time she saw a girl, she just wanted automatically to criticize the way she looked, the way she dressed, her hair color, I don't know, just everything. And it was so unnecessary. I don't want to read about girl-on-girl bashing because I don't need that. I could go on and on about this, but to save you guys some time, I think I'm just going to read you a few passages. I highlighted every moment that Reagan would trash talk another girl, and there are so many. I'll read you a few, and hopefully these passages will speak for themselves. Alright, here we go. They all look like they've tried extra hard tonight, like they're desperate to get with Matt Finch for one night only. Best of luck, bitches. And then, seriously, the page after that, I wish all these skanks would just sit down so I could see. Just, yeah, go ahead. You can call girls skanks. No big deal, right? Let's move on. The people who scream for D are teenage girls and younger. But with Matt, the girls howl like a bunch of starving street cats about to get table scraps. It's unseemly. A group of doting bimbos sidelines him immediately, asking for pictures with cell phones and crappy point-and-shoot cameras. Next we have, she bats her mascara-thickened eyelashes at him, which is borderline tragic, because she's at least in her mid-20s, too old for this behavior. Also, she really needs to dye her roots. Next, I'm only a few steps in when I spot Matt on the dance floor swinging around some leggy brunette in a thigh-grazing black dress. I survey her appearance, which is so obvious, in italics. Long hair in full curls, skin-tight dress, and stacked heels. This look is amateur, the one I'd resort to if I was feeling lazy. I thought Matt had better taste than that. Next, we have the band is winding down when a girl zeroes in on us, or more specifically, Matt. She's compact and curvy, topped with round curls that must have taken some serious hot rollers. Her hair dye is probably called goldenrod or honeysuckle, but it's actually the color of aging butter or dry cornbread. And there are so many more, but I'm just going to share this last one. There are a few girls in the front with shirts cut so low that they make my neckline look modest. Like, honestly, if Matt so much as looked down, he could probably see all the way to their belly buttons. Some girls have no self-respect, and even though they can't see me, I make a face of disgust. You know who's making a face of disgust? Me, when I'm reading this book, because of how often Reagan trash-talked other girls that she didn't even know. And it's kind of hypocritical, considering Reagan is the girl that people write mean comments about, like, in the bathroom stalls. Like, Reagan is a skank, or whatever. She's the girl that's being written about, and yet she thinks that it's okay to say the same things about other girls that she doesn't even know. Reagan's slut-shaming and just general girl bashing was really, really offensive and irritating, and I hated it so much, and I don't know how people can tolerate it because it just boils my blood. The fact that Reagan did it almost on every other page was just such a struggle for me. And I'm not like naive or ignorant. I know there are girls like that, but it's like, if you have creative liberty, why would you purposefully make someone like that? Especially if they're not going to develop into a much better person at the end of the book. And it's such a shame because when you take Reagan out of the picture, Open Road Summer is actually a pretty good book. And I guess it just comes down to the issue of whether you think you should judge books based on how likable the main characters are. Because I know that's like a topic that's been talked about, and I like to talk about it, and I have been trying. I've been trying to see the quality of a book beyond the likability of a main character, because there's so much more to a book than how likable the main character is. But in this case, all of the great aspects of Open Road Summer were just threatened and eclipsed by Reagan's loud, obnoxious personality. And it's a stark contrast to Dee, who is really nice and usually kind to everyone. But anyway, moving on, just a few quick things I wanted to mention. I thought the plot was well done, it was well paced, I didn't find myself bored or anything. Mostly I found myself irritated with Reagan, if we're being honest. But plot-wise, things moved along pretty well. And I thought the romance and the chemistry between Reagan and Matt Finch was developed really, really well. There was a lot of chemistry between them, and I could feel it. I could feel it. so that was good. Matt and Reagan's relationship was really great because they're both kind of broken and they mend each other and they make each other better people. So that was nice. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Open Road Summer. I know this was just kind of a big rant about Reagan and her girl bashing and how much I hated it, but it's just kind of a big deal to me. If you haven't read Open Road Summer and you're one of those readers who can see beyond an unlikable main character and just embrace the great aspects instead to find it an enjoyable read, then go for it. But if you can't separate the likability of a book with the likability of a main character, I would be cautious. And if you're like me and you have zero tolerance for people who slut shame, then yeah, I would be really, really, really cautious going into this book because Reagan might give you a headache. If you read Open Road Summer, definitely leave me a comment and tell me what you thought. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day and happy reading. Goodbye!